Let's talk about Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift is an extremely popular pop star. I don't know how you wouldn't know who this person is. You know, they're extremely popular, especially for women who like Stanley Cups. I mean, it's very popular with a certain demographic of the population. One of the most popular pop stars in the country right now. If you look at the arenas of Taylor Swift, they are sold out. There are movie theaters that are being sold out, not for Taylor Swift performances, but just to play Taylor Swift songs. And then when you look at the footage of these movie theaters, they're all in like, I mean, I'm not gonna say it looks like a cult, but I mean, it looks like church to me. And that's not to say that they're treating like her like a god, but like they all know the words. They're all like, some of them are crying. It's very emotional. The only thing it can remind me of, honestly, from an experience that I've had, is when I went to church camp once and they had like a big conference, and just the spirit of the crowd got everybody into a very emotional mood. Point is, though, they really like him. And, you know, I don't like Taylor Swift's style of music because I'm a very boring person who likes folk music, maybe like outlaw country, like Warren Zevon. I like him, but I'm not a huge fan of Taylor Swift. I don't think I know any of her songs. Point is, though, Taylor Swift, very popular. And so, being one of the most popular pop stars in the world, she's at a sporting event, and they, of course, put the camera on her. But there's a new element. Taylor Swift also is dating one of the football players on the 49ers. I think it's the 49ers. But she's dating a football star. And so not only do they want to show her because, hey, there's Taylor Swift, she's a super, like, popular musician. Oh, it's the Chiefs. Sorry, not 49ers. Now she's also a friend with a football star, a girlfriend of a football star. And so the people at the station had good reason to show her even more. Now, I don't know what you guys think for the amount of outrage, how long she was on screen. I think it's better if I don't tell you how long she was actually on screen at the Super Bowl. Not at the Super Bowl, but at the football event she was at. I'll just tell you that it was 3.5 hours. Now, I want you guys, in your head, imagine how much time Taylor Swift was on screen for that show, for the amount of outrage we're about to watch, okay? So let's start with Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson says that Taylor Swift is a psyop to elect Joe Biden. MK Ultra Taylor. My God, MK Ultra Swift. That's what the program has to be called, by the way, at CIA headquarters. MK Ultra Project Swift. They don't pay me enough over there at the department. Anyway, let's watch.
And the way you do that is by taking the most brain-dead, low-information voters. Of course, I'm talking about Swifties, Taylor Swift fans, who sort of worship this artist.
Again, when we say worship, I've seen some people trying to go as far to say it's sacrilege. I haven't seen anything sacrilege, even though I saw some TV hosts saying that this is idolatry and a sin against God because they're treating Taylor as if she's Jesus Christ. And that's not true. Again, she's being treated like Michael Jackson, right? She's being treated like Michael Jackson was treated. Not to the exact same levels, but you get the general idea. There's such a star that people crowd out their hotel room to just wait to see them. Do we look back and say, Elvis, what a sinner? Did you see how much people fainted in the crowd? Oh my God, Elvis. I think post facto, once this is all over, people are going to look back at these statements and just see how unbelievably stupid they are in retrospect. It's like when you watch those movies about rap stars like 30, 40 years after the fact. What was that one? NWO. There was a movie about the NWO. I'm not a big rap star, but I watched the movie because I just wanted to go to the movies. And after the fact, seeing all these like conservative dads like smashing their albums and CDs and going crazy, and after the fact, they look silly. And I think in 30, 40 years time, that's how Benny and the rest of these guys are going to look, be given this type of reaction. Anyway, let's continue. Just giving you my state of mind of what this all reminds me of.
Kind of like at random, right?
And it's not even due to the content of her music, because the music is not extremely edgy. It's just because she's not with them and she's possibly a liberal, which, oh my God, a Hollywood liberal.
Right? Like just out of the blue, suddenly Taylor Swift's the most famous person on earth. Now she's at every NFL game.
That's how stardom works. Yeah. You guys remember the pineapple pen guy? I got the pen, I got pineapple. So right after that went viral, he was everywhere. Of course, there was a delay. It's like right when the meme was stale, then he's on all the commercials. But that's how stardom works a lot of times. And it's not like Taylor Swift came out of nowhere. She's been known for a very long time. You guys remember when Kanye confronted Taylor Swift at the MTV Awards and like stopped her award ceremony? He was like, I gotta say something quick. I saw a very funny tweet about what's going on and highlighting that. And the reaction, and it killed me. I don't usually laugh reading tweets. I did get a laugh. Somebody took a screenshot of that and said, if you told America which of these two would end up being a liberal icon and which of these two would end up being a neo-Nazi icon, I don't think they believe you. And it's true. True.
With her boyfriend, who's backed by Bud Light and Pfizer. Travis Kelce is this guy who also kind of out of the blue became this big-time celebrity, really rich, really.
My goodness, it's almost like he might be a football star, and he played football, and then he became famous. Man, there was this guy called Barack Obama, and all of a sudden he was president, and everyone knew who he was. I was like, I'm in Texas. I never heard of this Obama guy, and then all of a sudden he's president of the United States, and now he's everywhere. He's on the TV, he's on the radio. I was like, what? Yeah, I mean, if you become very popular, or I don't know how to explain popularity.
Really powerful. Why? He's a tight end. He's like a glorified lineman. That doesn't make any sense. Tight ends aren't famous people in football. What are you talking about?
Everything I've heard, and again, I'm not a big football guy. I grew up watching the Washington Redskins. Now, the Commanders. Liberals, I don't care. My family did, though. A lot of people in this area do in the DMV. But, like, I heard that he's a good tight end. I don't know if he's the best in the league, like people in my chat are saying right now, but I heard he's good.
What world are we living in?
It's like a bass guitar. I was like, why is this guy who plays the bass guitar good? Usually people who play bass guitar are not famous. Well, they must play a good bass guitar, I guess.
Sure seems planned.
Planned?
Sure seems like...
the psyop. This is where it comes. It's all a plan.
We living in. Sure seems planned. Sure seems like something that is like concocted in order to accelerate the fame of these two people, get them to the Super Bowl, the largest screens on earth, get maybe like a proposal after the game. This is what I think is going to happen. There's going to be like some type of proposal after the Super Bowl is rigged for the Chiefs. And then
so not only is Taylor Swift's popularity rigged and this tight end's popularity rigged, and it's not that, hey, two pretty famous people were pretty famous and then they started dating and then became even more famous because, oh my God, celebrity couple, which is always how it's worked in Hollywood. Instead of it being that's all rigged. It's all so this guy can set up his marriage proposal, and the football is also rigged. By the way, can I just throw out there that the only people I hear calling football rigged are the people whose teams always get clobbered.
And the two of these people reach like crazy levels of absolute fame, and then they take all that fame that has been given to them by the rotted corporate press, media, entertainment industry that explicitly backs Democrats, and then they use that in order to try and save Joe Biden. They take all that and then they pour it in.
I can't believe they filmed the football player at the football game with his girlfriend. Back in the day in the 60s, they pretended football players were celibate. I wish we were back in those days.
And you'll see in October the release of like what'll look like a hostage video.
Do you think if Marilyn Monroe or like some other celebrity in the 60s was at some sporting event, they wouldn't highlight it on the screen? They've been doing this at sporting events forever. Forever. I'm a boxing fan, right? I watched football with my family growing up, but I'm a boxing guy. I love boxing. And let me tell you that when there's a celebrity in the crowd, even if it's a nobody, they will highlight it. In fact, I would say at the football games, they will highlight people who are like complete nobodies, but they'll do it because they want to like promote their show. Or they want to promote something that's related to the network. And I'm pretty sure the same companies that are pushing the NFL are also trying to push the Grammys. And oh my goodness, they're Swift at the Gram. That gives them an even more of a reason to push this type of stuff. I don't think it's a political psyop. I think they're like, oh, there's money right there in Taylor Swift. Oh, there's money in the tight end. Oh, and they're dating, and we want to push the Grammys. Yeah, put them on screen. Again, remember though, 3.5-hour game. Guess how long she was on screen in comparison to all the other commercials, in comparison to all the other celebrities, because they did show other celebrities on the screen, in comparison to the commentary and any of the replays, and then the actual football playing. Just imagine 3.5 hours. What's causing this much outrage?
Or a Visiting Angels ad, right? Visiting Angels, and I'll have Joe Biden sitting there all like twisted up, like in a wheelchair, like an eggplant, and his glazed over skin like a Krispy Kreme donut, drooling out of the side of his mouth. And Taylor Swift and Mr. Bud Light Pfizer will come in and pat Grandpa on the shoulder and tell all of their brain-dead fans to go vote for him. Taylor Swift, of course, also a psyop for the NFL wives out there.
Psyop for the NFL wives. Okay, continuing. Like, dudes, I want to break down every statement, but at some point, this is so ridiculous. I feel like in and of itself, I just, we can just, it speaks for itself. So I'm not going to try to over-focus on any specific statement. Let's jump through a bunch of the rest of these. These two cookers, I love that. I love the tweet text here. I think Taylor Swift dating Travis is a psyop because of Pfizer and the Democratic Party.
But this whole idea about Taylor Swift being the key, what do you think about this? Have you heard about this?
I haven't heard about it, but I already know how.
Also, this shows that American conservatism is, in the politics to go with it, is a display of American soft power. Conservatives in America will complain about a show or a program that's only being played in the United States, is only popular in the United States, and it will somehow seep its way into other countries. They don't play football in Australia. You guys aren't watching the NFL. You guys are doing like rugby and like fighting the kangaroos or do whatever, getting killed by spiders and shit. They're not. I mean, I assume some of them watch the NFL. I assume many of them probably listen to Taylor Swift, but it's not like this guy's day was ruined because he was sitting down trying to watch the Kansas City Chiefs win the game, and then he was disturbed by the whatever amount of time of Taylor Swift footage was on screen during the show, which, again, I'm holding off until the end to tell you because I feel like it builds anticipation.
How it would play out if it did happen. So Taylor Swift is dating that football player in America. So it's kind of like one of those, romance made for the tabloids kind of thing. It would be
and that footballer. I'm sorry to cut you in.
Yeah.
He's actually called Mr. Pfizer because he does endorsements for Pfizer.
How is that for a psyop?
A guy that's dating Taylor Swift, this famous footballer, does.
It's crazy that the football stars do ads. You know how many? I grew up in the United States. I don't know if it's different in other countries, but when I was growing up, there were so many football stars and like former athletes on TV who are in their 50s and 60s, and they got nothing else to do anymore because their body's just not what it used to be. And so they'll just be like, yes, I agree that this hand tool will make you throw like me, and then roll football, and then that's the ad. And they'll do that for tons and tons of medical stuff. I'm not surprised that they would also do it for a vaccine that's going in the arms of millions upon millions upon millions of people.
Endorsements for Pfizer.
Crazy.
Taylor Swift has been looking at, the Democrats are looking at her to promote the party.
Yep.
It's all interlinked, isn't it?
All interlinked. It's a great coincidence, right? So she might come out and say, I support Joe Biden, and all of a sudden, he might become a bigger superstar than what he already is, or perhaps they go on to win the Super Bowl or whatever it is, or do really well in the season. And now it's like a prince and princess type of American social media, pop culture, endorsing the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
This is such a bad idea. Who would thinks that it's a good idea to pick a fight with Taylor Swift? Who thinks it's a good idea to pick fights with superstars that, as of right now, has at the very least stayed out of this race? The more you go after her, the more you're gonna piss her off. There was this AI artist who made like inappropriate images of Taylor Swift and spread them around, and Taylor Swift is considering legal options to go after this person. Their face, and they've already basically been doxxed on the internet. The Swifties tore them in half, right? I don't understand why you would want to turn your anger towards them. Because the more you spitball in their direction, saying, oh, all their fans are stupid, all their fans are this, right? I think the more likely that they're actually going to come out and just support Joe Biden. Now, maybe she's going to support Joe Biden no matter what. But you guys have like Ted Nugent. You guys have your own conservative stars. I remember at the RNC during the Obama race, Clint Eastwood, and I'm a huge Clint Eastwood fan, by the way. I love old Western movies. Clint Eastwood talking to a chair, and the Republican Party was perfectly comfortable with that. Either political party is perfectly comfortable with celebrities when they come out and agree with them, and they're not comfortable with celebrities when they come out and they don't agree with them. Both of these guys would get on their knees and pray if there was a 1% chance they could get someone like Matthew McConaughey or some big star to come on their stream and tell them that all their batshit conspiracy theories are right. They would love it. They would praise it. They would adore it. But it just so happens that Taylor Swift doesn't like Trump. Therefore, it's a psyop, and it can't just be a celebrity from Hollywood is kind of liberal. Oh, anyway, continuing.
Yeah.
Fox News host Brian Kilmeade on Taylor Swift potentially endorsing Biden.
But then the other story is how Taylor Swift, their special strategy is to get young people to vote.
Also, the only reason I'm bringing the Fox News segments here, and we're going to be playing some of these, is just to get across the point that this wasn't just like nobody podcasts, right? Like it was Benny Johnson, like he has a sizable podcast, but you know, it's a podcast. And those other guys, those are nobodies. Nah, man, this was on cable news.
But then the other story is how Taylor Swift, their special strategy is to get young people to vote, is to have her support him. Now, she evidently...
Let me just throw out there. We have no evidence that the Biden campaign is banking on Taylor Swift in order to get young people in favor of him. We don't have any evidence of that. That's not to say that there's no evidence to think that he might do that, but the idea that he's banking it, like our young voter strategy is Taylor Swift. We're getting dangerously close to Pokemon Go to the polls being actual political analysis.
She evidently tweeted out support for him, and I saw the full screen this morning. I don't remember that. 2018, she went for the candidate, Phil Bredesen, against Marsha Blackburn. Marsha Blackburn felt that.
So maybe, by the way, for everybody who thinks it's a psyop, Taylor has always kind of felt this way.
She does have power, but it would be the single dumbest thing a mega superstar could ever do. Why would you tell half the country that you don't agree with them in this highly polarized time? You stay out of it.
Okay, let me throw this out there quick. It's not half the country. I don't know why people believe this, but barely half the country vote in an election. So when we're talking about half the country, we also need to include independents, non-voters, people who don't vote for Donald Trump. The people who end up voting for Donald Trump, if we're being generous, ends up being like what, 25 to like 26, 27% of the country. So there is a percentage of the country that votes for Donald Trump, but it's not half.
Hey, listen.
Also, if you check the polling data right now, the majority of Americans don't want Trump to run again. So the majority of Americans don't even want Trump to run again. I doubt that they would completely spoil their relationship with Taylor Swift over her endorsing Donald Trump's opponent.
Hey, listen, I'm Taylor Swift. I like this guy. He happens to play football for a living. I'm on the stage a lot, selling out. That's it. I think it would be the craziest thing ever for her to do it. And Joe Biden's not worth it. I mean, my goodness. If you need Taylor Swift to get you another 4 years, that's how bad your first 4 years have been. You're done. You're finished. You're through.
I mean, you could say this. If Donald Trump needs Vivek Ramaswamy, guy with no political experience, his farmer Ezek, who came in here and just started shooting from the hip, just like him, really, with no experience, probably why they relate to each other so much. I don't think that that's going to get him over the line. But if you have to do that, that's pretty desperate. Look, I'm sorry. The only reason Fox is angry is because Taylor Swift didn't come out and say, I love Trump. If she came out and said, I love Trump, they would be like, yes, go, endorse, get public. Now is the time to fight for America. Next, what do we got next? I think we still have more. Oh yeah, here's the one where they're saying that she's being turned into a god. This is Newsmax. Fantastic. Oh, it's Greg Kelly too. I forgot it was Greg Kelly.
I kind of have a problem though with the hardcore Taylor Swift fans. They are totally over the top.
They are. I agree. Critical support so far.
Worshipping this woman. Have you seen any of the pictures? of her in concert. I wouldn't go myself. I don't do that kind of thing anymore. But I think
what does that mean? Like that he doesn't do concerts, or like specifically Taylor Swift concerts?
But I think what they call it is they're elevating her to an idol, idolatry. This is a little bit what idolatry, I think, looks like, and you're not supposed to do that. In fact,
being popular,
if you look it up in the Bible, it's a sin. So
Swifties are all going to hell. Now, it did get a little sillier. Is Taylor Swift a Pentagon asset? This got sillier and sillier and sillier and sillier, but I'm not going to sit here all day playing all the cable news segments where they talk about Taylor Swift and make up theories. I just want to put out there a few things. Number one, Taylor Swift has probably been liberal for a very long time, right? And I'm going to say liberal because that's what it sounds like from her voting record, from the stance that she's taken before, right? So she's been left wing, whatever that ends up equivocating into on the American political spectrum, for a long time. So if there's an idea that the CIA or some other government agency forced her to do this, quite silly. The idea that her relationship with this other celebrity was manufactured. Now, it's not that I don't think AHR guys do that type of stuff, but I am saying we have no evidence to believe so. It's not that crazy for famous people to end up dating and marrying or being with each other. Famous people, just like everybody else, fall in love with people after spending time with them and getting to know them. And famous people, due to the nature of their work, often hang out with other famous people, either for movies, for music, for, business meet, whatever it could be. And along that path, she met this guy, and she could have either fallen in love with him. Maybe some HR guy pushed it. Who knows? But we have no evidence to that points to that fact. So the idea that was constructed is just purely speculation. And as for the idea that she should stay out of it, or
385 has donated $5.
Thank you.
I am from Kansas City, and we do have some conservative Chiefs fans torn between rooting for the Chiefs and their loyalty towards Trump.
That is absolutely hilarious. That is very, very funny. That is very funny. They must be a very torn game. They're gonna watch. Of course, they're gonna watch. I wonder what they're gonna do if it's gonna come out like the Chiefs get a touchdown. They're like, yeah. Like, they're going to have to calm down and stop themselves from cheering. Because if they cheer, they might end up cheering for a guy who's dating Taylor Swift. By the way, do we even know who the football player themselves are voting for? So you're not going to root for the Chiefs because what if their tight ends has a girlfriend who might come out and endorse Biden? This is demented. This is demented. Look, maybe it's harder for me to relate to it because I watch media where I disagree with the artists quite frequently. Like I said, I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan. I love old Western movies, stuff like that. I think it's something that adults can do and they can put on their big boy pants, especially since Taylor Swift during this show was on screen from a combined total of 25 seconds. When I say 25 seconds, I don't mean there was one burst of 25 seconds. What I mean is there was like two bursts of 12 seconds. 25 seconds. That's what all this is from. So we're talking about shorter than a commercial. Shorter than a 30-second commercial. They could watch all the commercials telling them, like, hey, take this medicine. Also, it might kill you. All the commercials trying to advertise political candidate, all that other stuff. None of that's touched. This is it. This is embarrassing. This is silly. It makes you look like a baby. But if you think that hatred for Taylor Swift is ending anytime soon, I'm actually unsure. I would think from a strategic point of view, you would not try to pick a long-term fight with a pop star superstar, because I'm sorry, I don't care how much charisma you think your politician has. The people in Hollywood who have to perform in front of millions upon millions of people singing and dancing and being charismatic every single week, they're going to win. They're going to win. Donald Trump can't win a debate with The Rock. And that's not because The Rock knows all the policy specifics. It's because The Rock knows how to be likable. The Rock knows how to perform. And Trump's main skill is performance. So Trump is going into the one arena against the one people who can do part of what he does better than him. It's not a smart move, in my opinion. But also, it's not ending anytime soon. Look at all this.
We have had enough of Taylor Swift for now.
She shouldn't be liberal. She should be a total conservative, given everything.
The Pentagon PSYOP unit pitched NATO on turning Taylor Swift into an asset.
Yesterday,
I'm sorry.
she flew private from New York City to Baltimore. Yet she constantly talks about climate change. So just please don't believe everything Taylor Swift says. We're all begging you.
I think she should just stick to her singing and let her love life be what it is.
The New York Times just speculated she's a lesbian.
A new poll shows 18% of voters are likely to vote for whichever candidate Taylor Swift endorses. Uh-oh.
Biden effectively has Taylor Swift as his VP.
A single post of hers led to
Taylor Swift, dude. Unironically, man. No, okay, not unironically, but I gotta say, it would be really funny. It would be really funny. Kamala Harris bends the knee. She comes up on the stage. It's like, sorry, it's time for me to make way for a powerful woman. She like puts a fist in the air. Taylor Swift comes up to the stage and then sings the song. Biden wins every state. Biden wins all 50.
to 35,000 new registrants.
God, I'm sick of celebrities running for office, though, or the idea of celebrities running for office.
That's arguably more power than the president.
She's sharing links. And her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, sponsored by Pfizer.
What's her stance on policy, economic policy, foreign policy? Should we ask Taylor Swift how to respond to Iran?
So don't get...
Should we ask Taylor Swift how to respond to Iran? Beautiful.
So don't get involved. Don't get involved in politics. We don't want to see you there.
We have...
Okay, to be clear, though, I also don't want to see her anywhere because every time I see her speak, she's saying some ignorant shit. Did you know after the Jordan attack, she went out and said that something like this would have never happened under Trump, forgetting that she was working at Fox when American bases were struck by the Iranians directly by the IRGC from Iranian territory? Does she just not remember the stuff that she reported on? Anyway, lastly, if you think this ends with commentary, you'd be wrong. Trump's allies pledge holy war against Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift hasn't even endorsed Joe Biden's 2024 campaign, but Trump is already privately grousing he's more popular than her. This is going to be a long, long, long campaign season.